Hey everyone. This video is going to be a little different than what I normally put up. So, I think I'm basically sick and tired of all the infighting in the community. One of the things I've always done is try to bring everyone together. But what ends up happening is fans and competing companies and friends of competing companies, friends of mine, comments get misread. Like, everything creates fighting and drama and arguments and us versus them. Now, I try to stay away from the us versus them conversations. Almost weekly, I'll get somebody going, hey, why is your part better than ZZP? And my answer is usually, I don't get involved with us versus them. Then I have somebody else come, oh, hey, I want to get a turbo. And then I'll just say, well, the only thing I can think of is, okay, well, I think that turbo's this size, so I have something that is this size that should perform better. And it means nothing. I'm just speaking logically with facts. And then that turns into, oh, Dave said this about this person, or Dave said this about that company. And it's like, I was as vague as I possibly could be. So I try to be vague because I don't want to create a problem where a competing company thinks I'm taking shots at them. So here's another example, right? I'm exhausted all the time. I look exhausted right now. So the other day I had somebody ask me, hey, I'm curious about your tune that you did on Cruze missile, and you used nitromethane. So I responded with, yeah. Then he's like, you used 100% methane, right? I said, yeah. And then I was about to fall asleep, and then I woke up a little bit and said, oh, let me correct myself. I used methanol. And then went to sleep. Then when I got up in the morning, I was like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Because I was vague about it, because I was quick and went to sleep. They're going to go, oh, well, Dave's lying because he didn't use it right, or that doesn't work that way. And then I'm like, oh, well, all right. There was gasoline mixed in with it too, and I had a percentage of gasoline mixed in. And the tuner I used, who does Honda stuff, I texted him later, and I got the exact, what we thought the ratio was, and I didn't think anything of it. But that's my point is, sometimes when somebody says something, it doesn't mean anything, right? So the moral of my story is, in the past, I've done a whole video series, and at the end of the series, I took the car to the dyno, and then, we saw what kind of power it made. And it was pretty consistent. This time around, I was so tired of dealing with this, like, us versus them drama, fans and friends fighting each other, friends of mine fighting other people fighting me. It's like it didn't make any sense. And it's all because other companies worry, and then they, those guys vent to their fans and friends. I mean, at the end of the day, I said I wasn't giving competitors a roadmap because I just was so tired of it, right? But then at the end of the day, it's like it ended up causing more problems. So here's what I decided to do. I took the videos down. I'm going to save them. What I'm going to do is this. I decided that, for starters, I have some customers that want a few horsepower packages. And one of them is going to be doing over 300 horsepower. So I'll just wait until a couple of my fans and friends have the parts that I offer. And then I'll use their cars. And then I'll show everybody, like, here. You know what I mean? Instead of just using my own car. I don't have time for it anymore anyway. I'm doing a V8 swap. I'm doing something that not many people do. And that's what I want to focus on. And then I have Super Cruzes. I run Super Cruzes. Pause the video for a sec just to add this in. When I said I don't have time for it, what I mean is Dave's World is separate from Super Cruzes. My YouTube channel, Dave's World, I work on everything. I work on Camaros, Corvettes, Shelby Cobras, Cruzes, Jettas, you name it. That's what I do with Dave's World. Super Cruzes is separate. So even though you see Super Cruzes stuff on Dave's World, really Dave's World is what I'm talking about. When I say I don't have time for it, I don't have time for more filming of certain things because I'm trying to focus on a V8 swap on Cruze missile for Dave's World. Super Cruzes is always going to have the same parts it's always had. And that's kind of the whole point of this video. So I just want to let everybody know that when I say I don't have time for it, it doesn't mean I don't have time for Super Cruzes. It just means I don't have time for building another 4-cylinder, because I've done as much 4-cylinder big builds as I think I could do on the channel, and I own 3 different Cruzes with 3 different stages of build. So that's what I meant. So now back to the regularly scheduled video. Super Cruzes is not a competing company. It's Super Cruzes. Like, I'm friendly with Jerry at Bad News Racing, right? And it's funny because I'm friendly with him. We're not like this, but we're friendly. I have his parts on my website. I do that because I want to help the community. That's literally why the parts were there. And if a customer wants a Bad News Racing part or a Super Cruzes part, I'll put it on their car. That's it. Super Cruzes is really, it's a store. It's supercruzesstore.com. So if you guys are wondering why I keep looking over here, my basement's been flooding and the water's coming out and it's driving me crazy. So sorry to get distracted. We have a really wet winter this year. It's a store, right? So what I'm going to be doing is, it doesn't matter what's on it. If I have a part that's, you know, something that's $50, that's cheap, that you could probably find yourself somewhere, but I put it on the website, it's because I'm trying to help people find parts that don't know where to get them. If I want to put ZZP stuff on the website, I'll contact Zoom, who owns ZZP, and I'll put ZZP parts on the website. If I wanted to put Trifecta tunes on the website, I'll contact Vince, who owns Trifecta, and I'll put their parts on the website. It doesn't matter. I'm a YouTuber first. So I started YouTube to make videos because I always wanted to be a YouTuber. The website came about because the community wanted the website. It was a place for the community to go to find parts they couldn't get. And when I started out, it was really Dave's Custom Parts, and then I transitioned over to Super Cruzes because I wanted to focus on just cruise stuff. But I'm not a competing company with anyone. It's called Super Cruzes Store. Super Cruzes came about because people kept asking me to basically replicate what I was doing for my Gen 2 Cruze. It's not a competing company. When I started Super Cruzes, it wasn't because I wanted a company. It was because you guys asked for it. You guys literally asked me to replicate the stuff. And then when I was coming out with things, I decided, oh, okay, well, now what I'll do is I'll come out with a video, and then I'll throw the part on the website, see if people want it. So there were a lot of things on the website that didn't exist before that I came up with. I didn't do that because I want to sell parts. I did it because it's what people wanted. Like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, if I come out with a video where I show an intercooler and then I have 30 people that want intercoolers, well, those 30 people want to buy stuff from a company, not just Dave, right? So it started out as just being Dave, and then it segued into, you know, being a company because people want the stuff and I got to keep track of it. So my wife keeps track of everything, but I spend all day building things. So anyway, Super Cruzes is not a competing company. And here's the thing. When somebody hits me up and they're asking me about a part, I try to respond as neutral as possible because I don't want to get caught up in that us versus them stuff. So I've had people contact me, you know, oh, hey, you know, I want a turbo that's better than the one I have. And then I'll be like, what do you have? They'll be like, oh, ZZP. And I'll be like, well, I don't play us versus them. I think that turbo is this size. And then I'll respond with, you know, I have a turbo that's this size. It should make more power. It's just logical, right? If a turbo is one size and you put another one on that's larger, then that one's going to make more power, you know, and it depends on your tuner if they're good or bad or whatever, right? But a person will take that information and go, oh, Dave took a shot at ZZP, or they'll go to B&R and get B&R's information, and they'll go, oh, look what B&R and Super Cruzes is doing, and they'll give it the ZZP, and then get ZZP pissed off, and then friends and of each company is going to fight each other, and then the comments roll out, and then everybody's fighting each other on Facebook, and really it's just people shopping around, and sometimes it's people with an agenda. But at the end of the day, like, Super Cruzes, again, is not a competing company with anyone. It's a place where you can get all of it. So on supercruises.com, I'm going to put a ZZP catalog, I'm going to put a Trifecta catalog, and I'm going to put a Bad News Racing catalog. And if there's anybody else in the community that has custom parts, I'll make a catalog for you guys so people can come there and just literally get anything they want. Like, if a friend of mine contacts me and says, I want a ZZP turbo, and I want a Super Cruzes wastegate, and I want a Bad News Racing HPRV, and I want a Super Cruzes cold air intake with an engine cover, I'm just gonna say okay. I don't try to do that, well, you should buy mine and blah, 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 blah. If somebody wants all that, then it goes on their car. It's like my customer comes first. I don't really care about cornering the market on anything. It doesn't matter to me. What I care about is helping the community. So that's why I'm going to open the doors more. I mean, it's always been that way, but the problem is it's hard to get in touch with certain people who own certain companies because you have to worry about not pissing someone else off or people getting wind of it. That's why I'm just telling everybody publicly. If you have something you want to put on the website, we'll put it on the website. If you're ZZP, Trifecta, and Bad News Racing are not competing companies to me. You guys offer parts. I'll put the parts on the website. Who cares if I have something that's kind of the same? I try to have a lot of parts that actually don't, it's like quote unquote turbo, right? I'll give you an example. ZZP's putting out their, I don't remember, one of their turbos, and then Bad News Racing has this new red turbo, right? And then there was a YouTube post where that turbo made like 15 more horsepower than one of my turbos. Great. The turbo that was in the post was meant to make 275 to 300 horsepower. It made 278 wheel. Okay, that's exactly what it was supposed to do. Bad News Racing came out with a turbo that was bigger, made like an extra 15 horsepower. Awesome. The community has another turbo. It's great. I don't care. I'm not losing sleep over it, right? But the community is all fighting about this stuff. ZZP is going to come out with a turbo. If it makes 290 wheel, great. Another turbo. Awesome. I have the ability to make an even bigger turbo. Can I do it? Yeah. And if I do, it doesn't mean I'm competing. It just means somebody asked me for it, right? So I have like 15 turbos on the website. Each turbo was created because a customer asked me for a turbo that made a specific power, and that's what they wanted on their car. So I made the turbo and put it on their car. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. So at the end of the day, if you want these parts, whatever you want, I'll send you. If you want a ZZP part with a Bad News Racing part with a Super Cruzes part, then that's what you get. That's the idea behind the website. That's what I created it for. And unfortunately, I don't know how to deal with the political, I don't know how to navigate the social media political waters, right? I really don't spend time on social media anymore. If you want to get in touch with me, you contact me through the website. I'm going to probably use social media to reach out to other business owners who own parts for Cruzes, and I'm going to put them on the website. In fact, I'm going to talk to, there's one other company, was Cruze Culture. They kind of closed their doors and they sort of opened back up a little bit. I'll talk to them a little bit too, and I'm going to put everybody on the site. So at the end of the day, the Super Cruzes is a community store. Super Cruzes is not some competing performance company. If you want to get stuff from me that gets you to 300 horsepower, I got you. If you want to go to another company that does a kit that makes you, get to 300 horsepower, go for it. If you want to go through me and you want some of the other company's parts and some of my parts and you want to get to 300 horsepower, I got your back. That's the idea behind it. And I want to be friends with everybody because the more we're focusing on making parts for customers and working together, and the less we're focusing on who's screwing who and who's fighting who and what customer likes this, what customer doesn't like that, and how, this company screwed me, that company screwed me. All of that's nonsense, and it keeps the companies from focusing on parts, and it screws the community. Just remember that when you guys are pinning everyone together. For me, I don't care anymore. I really don't go on social media that much. If I get a screenshot of what someone said, I close my phone. I don't care anymore. But at the end of the day, I'm here to help everybody. So if you want to do this, let's do it. I'll put your parts on the site. I'm looking forward to it because I want to bring everybody together because I think this stuff is fun. I enjoy building power. I enjoy building cars, and it's really cool. If I have a friend here and they want to put a ZZP turbo on the car and a cold air intake from Super Cruzes, let's do it. I think it's going to be fun. I love this stuff. It'd be cool if the turbo sounds a little different or makes a different noise or spools faster, spools slower. And that's a funny thing too about turbos, right? You could talk all day about turbos, but I have different turbos on the site for a reason. If I have a customer that says, I want all of my horsepower down low, I have a turbo for that. If I have a customer who says, I want all my horsepower up high, higher in the RPM ranges, I have a turbo for that. But it's funny because if one person buys the wrong turbo and their turbo makes power up high, then the Bad News Racing turbo would have made power down low. Well, yeah, but that's what you bought, right? So vice versa, if somebody just buys a turbo and it makes power up down low, then they'll go, oh, the Super Cruze's turbo makes power up high. You should have bought that one. But like, there's so many options. Just choose the right turbo. So that's why I help everybody, right? So if you contact me and you say, I want a car that makes 300 horsepower and I want the power to kick in early because I want to pass people on the highway, I have the exact turbo and the exact horsepower package that'll work and do that for you. That's what I do. I give you exactly what you're looking for. There is no like us versus them, and there is no like that, you know, you should have bought this one because it didn't do this, or you should buy this one because it does that. I give the customer what they want. Anyway, I look exhausted. I have a long day. I work like 10-hour days, sometimes 12 hours. In fact, I was up till 2 in the morning helping somebody last night. I'm gonna get going, but I'm gonna be contacting everybody. I'm gonna open the store up a little bit more, and the idea behind it is to help the community. And I think everyone's going to be happy, and I think it's going to be a cool experience, because it's not something that ever happens in car communities. Everybody's just always fighting with each other, but it's not going to happen here, at least hopefully, while I can do, you know, try to make it work. So talk to everyone later. Comment below if you think it's a good idea. Comment below about the V8 swap that I'm doing on Cruze Missile, and then if you want to talk nitromethane, you want to talk methanol injection, whatever, we'll talk. But at the end of the day, I'm going to get some stuff on customer cars so you guys, so the public can see more about what I've been doing. So have a nice day, everyone.